good to go, Stan? Perfect. All right, hi everybody. Thanks for coming today. We have Geoff Zimpfer again with us today. He's going to be talking about the next gen buyers. So we're excited about this because that is something that we are transferring into as, you know, people get older and kids move on and, you know, the parents come back. So he's going to discuss that with us today. Also, if you haven't heard, so Heather, come on up here. And Jocelyn, come on up. Go ahead. So we're going to show you. So we have a Rock Title with us today, but Rock Title is our title company. We have a marketing rep in each office. So the last few months has been Barbara. Unfortunately, Barbara has stepped away, but Heather, our one and only realtor agent, has moved into Rock Title, and now she's going to be our marketing rep here at the Summerlin office. So we're super excited. So anything you ladies would like to say?
You actually said everything I was going to say. So I'll just leave it up to Heather. But if you guys don't know me, I am Jocelyn. I work with Justin Taylor. I usually help set up all the classes and stuff. So if you ever can't get a hold of him, you can always reach out to me, and I can help you guys out.
Yeah. So the last month and a half, I am new to this role, but I've been at the Northwest office. Now, starting Monday, I'm going to be splitting my time between the Northwest and Summerlin. So I'd love to meet with you guys individually if you guys want help with your marketing plans. Tim Sams, which some of you guys know, he's staying on he's going to handle all of the offices with training, technology, so all the stuff that everyone loves about Tim. And then you have us for support too. So I'll turn it over to Geoff. That's what we're here for. But thank you guys.
Thank you. And Geoff, here.
Thank you very much. Hey, everybody. Who's the first time attending one of my classes? Okay, great. So about half and half. And a few of you decided to come back. I remember you from the last time. Awesome. If you haven't seen my style before, especially when we have just a small group like this, I like to be very conversational, which means I want to have a great conversation, right? Not a presentation. So I'm going to start with a question. Is why did you show up today? Based on the title of the class, what do you want to get out of today?
Business.
Business? Okay. You were going to say?
Well, I saw that you were in leadership with Tony Robbins, and I definitely take his classes, and one figured it would be maybe invigorating, and also in addition to that, I need information on how to relate to younger generations.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Anybody else? You showed up for a reason. What is it? Maybe it's more than one reason.
I enjoy your classes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I too am here on behalf of Rock Title. So if you guys, are wondering who to choose for your title services, I think if you get value from today or the other classes, Rock Title is the one to choose, because that's the whole idea: is help you learn and grow, to help you earn more business. So Rock Title in turn earns more business. But seriously, why are you here? What is it about this topic?
I have to say, though, that over the years, I love the next gen floor plans, because we think about, we have teenagers going, but they're not ready to move out, but then we have elderly parents that maybe want to downsize. So I do like the whole, multiple generations living together. So it's something that does interest me.
Okay, so what about
it? Is that what you're looking at, or is that a totally different topic? Because I was looking at
the younger.
Yeah, you're just talking about the generation, just finding different generations and how to relate to them.
I'm talking about the next generation. Who's the next generation?
Oh, see, I looked at that as like next gen.
Well, multi-generational is part of what's going on in the culture anyways, with elderly people moving in with the younger kids today. Is anybody seeing that out there in the market? Experiencing that?
I can't wait.
Why, are you moving in with your kids? Is that
I'm going to give them as much pain as possible.
It's payback time?
I'm just kidding.
No, true. I can relate. Like ADUs, are they a big thing here? Assisted dwelling units? Not so much here?
We don't have the land.
Okay. I know in California they're a big thing.
Well, we don't have, I think with our HOAs, and we don't have the land as much here,
Yeah.
so we don't see a lot of them.
Okay.
But yeah, we do have a lot of that sandwich generation, which would be like my age, so you start taking care of your parents, and then you're still taking care of the younger kids.
It's happening.
So the next gen floor plans are big, as well as affordability is an issue for people.
And then we're seeing multiple people on loan apps too, on purchase applications, right? Just to be able to afford and qualify for that. So that's also happening too. So I think then, based on the responses I did get, I appreciate that. I'm going to have two different PowerPoints or content sections, and as always, you guys get the content afterwards, the slides and all that jazz. So you're welcome to take pictures or notes if you want, but just know that we'll share with you the slides as well. Because I think the reason why I asked that question is I want to get a sense from you of who do you identify? Who do you, when you think of next gen, what does that mean to you? See, I told you this would not be one of those sit back and passive classes.
Younger generation that don't want to rent, they're out of their parents' home and they're trying to figure out how they can because of affordability.
Okay, great. So are there some obstacles then for them to be able to buy in this market?
100%.
Which you mentioned the word affordability. That's probably the biggest one. It's affordability. There's some other issues going on as well, but we're going to see. The reason why this is important is because, like, would you say moving forward, next gen, which by the way includes Gen Z and millennial, and I'll break that down what it means, but in terms of the percentage of home buyers moving forward for the foreseeable future, the next 5 years at least, this is the largest segment of home buyers? Yes?
Yes.
Right, it is, right? In terms of people buying homes, if you look at how many people were first-time you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? Was the largest single segment of buyers in the market last year, which tends to be younger, air quotes, people, right? So who exactly is next gen? Next gen is a term that's used to merge two demographics together of millennials born between 81 and 96 and Gen Z born between 96 and 2010. The oldest are now 42-ish. The youngest, 22. Okay? So somewhere in there, it trends a little bit on the higher side. If you look at some of the data, and hopefully you go to the NAR site and you pull down data and statistics on the average age of home buyers in the last year, right? The younger, air quotes, next gen, from what I've seen, the segment of those tend to be really around 35. For those people, 32, 33, 34, 35, all that, that's when those quote unquote first time home buyers, the majority of them tend to be buying their houses right around that age. Now, does anybody have any actual real world experience that backs that up? Like, can you remember your first time home buyer that you've closed a transaction with? Does anybody have a memory of one of those in recent time? Yeah, if not, did you hear stories from in your brokerage? Right? That's roughly the age. So what we're going to break down then is some of the needs, some of the wants and desires, and I think really what I want to walk away from here today is how you communicate with these people, how you become relevant for this age group. And you're not going to walk out of here with every answer today. My goal is to have you walk out of here with at least a strategy, an idea, most importantly, an understanding of the needs and wants of this age group so you can be more relevant to them. Okay? Because who here does a little bit of marketing for your business? Okay. Everyone else, by the way, this is the hand. This designates and lets me know that you are actually paying attention when this hand goes up. Do you market yourself? I hope so, because you're in a business that requires it. Like, you can't be a secret agent, right? No James or Jane Bonds here, okay? You're in a business that requires you to become known and to engage with people and have conversations. And there's obviously a bunch of different ways to engage with people in conversations, and we'll talk about some of those. But let me jump forward to a couple of things. Like I said, I'm going to jump around here a little bit. Let's see what we got here. So some expectations. Be prepared. They're willing to spend a long period of time to find their house. So this isn't now business. This is 6 to 18 to 24, maybe even 36 months. And so that gets into the question of how do you manage your database? How do you stay at top of mind and in contact with these quote unquote leads? Does anyone here use a CRM? Does Realty One provide a CRM? What's it called?
Sync CRM.
Sync?
One suite. And
One suite, but it's powered by Sync?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Sync's a great CRM. Okay, and if you're not utilizing that, or if you're underutilizing that, like, this is the long-term game here. You've got to have a means by which you have people's information and you stay in front of them over the long period of time. Not just through your email, but through engaging on social and all those other things, which is another class we have. They want homes with new technology, right? Who doesn't? I do. I live in a house that's 30 years old. It's frustrating. I see all these new homes and I'm like, damn, I want that, you know? So keep that in mind. They expect a digital buying experience. What does that mean? What does a digital buying experience mean? We're going to unpack that a little bit. Their primary reasons for buying a home, their desire to own their home. They still want to own their own home. That still is kind of like the American dream, owning their own home. And that's kind of the outward definition or representation that they are achieving the American dream, that they're succeeding. You know what I mean? Because that's a very big statement to have your own house. So look at the breakdown in age groups, by the way, and notice how it changes a little bit, right? The drop-off in ages from 23 to 31, and then from 32 to 41, right? Seems to be there's a little shift in the desire to own their own home. And then for some of the people, it's a larger home. Those that are people who are already in a home. So again, this is just some preliminary information. I think the point is, like, if I'm an agent, the first thing I want to do, and I'm talking to a, next gen, younger, whatever person, is I want to ask tons of questions, right? So tell me, why are you looking to buy a home, right? What does that mean? Like, what would that mean to you and your family and your life? Give me a sense of where you're at, right? Why is that important to you? And then you get into the specifics of the types of homes they're looking for. But the primary reason for the timing of the purchase was it was just the right time to buy, and financing options. So we'll probably talk a little bit about financing options. And you got Ricky Camus here. Is that how you say it, Camus? Okay. Does anybody work with Ricky?
It's actually John Morgan's. That's the one that's in our
Sorry, I'm
office,
just reading the sign over there.
Yeah, no, so it's Epic Lending, but yes. So
Epic Lending. There we go. That's what I should have said.
John Morgan's the one that's in our.
So in this market where affordability is a challenge, and I'm going to share with you some data in a minute that will really drive this home, is aligning with your lender is critical to your success. Because what gets people in the home is not finding the right home, and it's not even having your offer accepted. It's money. It's financing, right? Seeing as most people are going to finance the home. So there's ways to structure deals and to be more strategic to make homes more affordable, which we'll talk about here. Multi-generation. We kind of talked about this earlier on, right? Almost 40%. The timing of why to buy the house was because of taking care of aging parents. So that's also back to the questions you ask people. Tell me about your situation. Why is now the time for you to buy a house? How long have you been looking? Tell me about your experience. How's it been? Has it been good, bad, ugly, indifferent? What are your challenges? What are your frustrations? Like, you really need to act like this. You need to build a case of understanding. If you pretend you're an attorney and you're going to ask your client, your potential client, tons of questions, right? Because you want to build a case. And by the way, asking questions shows somebody that you're interested and cares. Did we adjust the AC, by the way?
It's broken in this room.
It's broken in this room, okay.
So let me go get my fan. I was just thinking the same thing.
As long as the fan's not too loud, yeah.
No, it's a little, but.
All right, so let's talk about overcoming buyer affordability issues. We know that most people finance their home. Okay, that's good. So the bottom line is when it comes to attracting, engaging, and getting traction with next gen, it all comes back to education. Okay, so I'm going to switch up a little bit here. Let's talk about some beliefs, first of all, some misconceptions. There was a Lending Tree survey that revealed that 34% of people believed you need 20% down to buy a house.
Sorry. We fixed it 20 minutes ago. All right, Geoff, it's the Zimpfer effect. That's what it is.
I just see the waving of the contract over there.
Yeah. Don't mind me, I can take a picture.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so last year, 2 million people were first-time home buyers. I can feel it now. That's the fan. Oh.
You're the fan.
Hey, that's my biggest fan back there.
Maybe it's cold outside, leave the door open.
Okay, so how many of you here already knew you didn't need 20% down to buy a house, right? You know that. But 34% of consumers don't know that. So anybody here ever struggle with what to post on social media for content? Nobody. All perfect. A room full of broken arms. All right. We got to get a doctor in here. Like, pump some life into this room. Right? You want some energy, bring the energy. Yeah. So, if you're thinking about how do I connect and engage with, people online, social media, all that kind of stuff, well, first of all, the quickest, shortest path to you producing content that's relevant for next gen is answer the top questions you always get. Do I need 20% down? Do I need an 800 FICO? Right? Do I need W-2, et cetera, et cetera? The top 5 questions should be like the next post that you get. So, because this is another one. Almost half of people believe that requires a W-2 job and great credit. That is not true. Do self-employed people buy a house? Yes. Are there loans out there that are based simply on bank statements? Yes. Do you need great credit? No. You ever heard of FHA? Right? 580 credit score? Not great credit. Okay? These are things that you should know as a real estate professional so you can address those with your potential clients and your audience and all that stuff, right? 40% of first-time homebuyers said qualifying for a mortgage was one of the biggest fears they had.
Just an update, he did fix it 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
He went up on the roof and broke it.
Nice.
Now he's fixing it from the roof.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't pay for that.
That's unbelievable.
By the way, this is an opportunity for content with your mortgage professional. Okay, so I was doing a session a week ago or so, and we were working with this videographer dude who's like really great at recording video. And he said one of the best videos you can do for your social media content is a shoulder-to-shoulder conversation where you're literally holding the mic like this. You ever see those little mini mics? Where's my mic? Like, you could even use this, or like on Amazon, you can buy mini mics for like $100 or less. It's 2 mics, it connects to your phone, and you can have a conversation with somebody side by side. I forget what it's called, but you can just search it, right? And it's literally, I would be having my lender here, and I'd be like, so what's his name? Tom? What was his name? John, the lender? I'd be like, so John, pretend John's right here. Hey John, what are the biggest misconceptions people have about buying a home when it comes to credit? Oh, well, it's this. Okay, John, so that's one. And I'd ask them 5 questions, and I got 5 different videos right there. Like, could you do that? I think so. I hope so, because that's one of the new skills you need. All right? Okay, so here's how to educate. Be the guide. Share stories. Has anybody here helped a young buyer get in a house? If not, can you borrow a story from someone? Yes. Hey, Geoff at Realty One. So there was a realtor in my office today, Sally, right? Awesome realtor. Story she shared about the Smith family, right? Struggling to buy the first house, yada, 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 yada. Boom. You tell the story. That's it. Doesn't have to be you ever show somebody else's listing? Okay, thank you. Thank you, signs of life. If this was the friggin' heart monitor thing, it'd be like, blip, blip. Right? So share stories, borrow stories. You hear somebody else have a successful story in the office, share that. Just wanted to share the good news. Today our office was able to get another buyer successfully into the house, right? As I said, ad nauseum here, team up with your lender. Okay, great. So let me skip some of this. I'm going to jump into a couple other things here. I'm going to get out of this slide deck and get into a different one. And I'm going to share with you a resource that you're going to find really, really helpful long after our time here today.
Did you know expectations is spelled wrong on that?
Were you an English major or teacher in school?
It's driving me crazy.
I'm sorry it's driving you crazy. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. All right, so I'm gonna share this with you guys afterwards, but this is called the Next Gen Homebuyer Report, and it's from a friend of mine, Krista Messerly, sorry. And she's part of this organization that has done research for years on what she calls Next Gen, right? And she has incredible content that I think will be helpful for you. There's this organization she's tied to called First Home IQ, which is really about financial literacy for young people, and they go around the country and they educate people in schools and all this kind of stuff about being financially, fiscally literate. So it's really, really cool. And you can decide to join them and become an ambassador if you want. But I'm going to break down some data for you guys on some stats that you might find interesting about these people. I'm going to skip forward. We're just us here. So first and foremost, they're stressed about their finances. Okay? I think you guys can understand why that might be. Okay? High cost of living, unexpected expenses, debt, loss of income, etc., etc. 20% have no savings for emergencies. 60% only have 2 months or less. This is partly why their road is so long, right? They need a long period of time to save up unless they're getting help from their parents or relatives, etc., which does happen quite a lot. So sometimes when you're selling to the next gen, you're actually selling to their parents and family and grandparents, right? So that might be another interesting question to ask about down payment. So tell me about a down payment. Do you have money saved up for a down payment? And if you don't get a very specific, yes, we have 50 grand in the bank or whatever, you can ask, are there any other people involved that might be assisting you with the purchase of this house, right? Grandparents, etc. Because behind the scenes, they're very well like me would be.
I get things done.
So personal.
All right. Let's get into some of the meat of this. Barriers to home buying. We talked about this, high cost of living. Only 1 in 3 are confident in the stability of the market. Only 40% are confident that homeownership will be accessible to the next generation, essentially them. So 1 in 3 are not confident about the stability of the market. Have you guys run into any of that in conversations? Do you think that's kind of the narrative out there today, right now?
Yes.
The media might be fueling it as well?
Absolutely.
So guess what? Let me share with you the stat here. Here's another one. Even though 51, so by the way, here's how I look at this. Only half say they're confident about their knowledge about home buying, right? Here's a fun one. They trust lenders less. They trust you more.
Yes.
But they will trust your, that was applause for anybody. They will trust your recommendation to a lender, by the way, because they trust you. As a matter of fact, there was a different study I read that even though when buyers show up with a quote pre-approval, roughly half of the time they take the recommendation of the realtor for the financing. That's how impactful, if you do a good job of creating trust, that's how impactful you can be. Because they're really looking to you to be the guide. You know, when you're on that trail out in the jungle, whatever, and you can't see but 2 feet in front of you, you need somebody's light to light up the next 2 steps. That's who you are. Or you're that lighthouse guiding them along the way. And that's why, even with this NAR settlement, all the kind of stuff that's happening with this is buyer's agents, as you probably well know, the thing that if you're caught back on your heels or whatever, that you need to shift to is being a consultant, selling your services equally at the same level that a listing agent does. Because as buyer's agents really didn't have to do that, right? But this is the game. This is the game. This is why we're seeing agents leave the business, because the easy days of, post-COVID, all that, long gone. Okay? It's challenging now. It's tough. You actually have to be good. No, I know, right? Shocking, but I'm not trying to make a joke, but the truth is, same on the lending. There was a period of time you didn't have to be good. You just needed a card and show up, right? Because there was so much activity and stuff like that. People were just buying. No question, selling, right? Well, it's obviously not the same. Okay, so this is fun. Where do they turn for personal finance information? Number 1, not surprising, friends and family. Number 2, videos. How's your video game? I'm sorry. How long have you been a realtor and been hearing video is where you should be? 10 years? 5 years? It's not changing. Until the hologram comes out, it's going to be video. So you got to get on board with, this is the new communication tool of a modern realtor. Learning how to use this. I talked earlier about the digital transaction. This is one example of that. Ease of contacting, texting, online digital forms, and what's it called? That whole digital signing thing. DocuSign, thank you. It escaped my brain for a minute. Everybody uses DocuSign, right?
Well, we have a form of that.
You have as long as it's digital. As long as it's digital. number one social media platform to gather information about buying a home, YouTube. Who would have thought something else?
Oh, YouTube.
Really? Would you have guessed Facebook's number two?
I thought Instagram.
Right?
I didn't think Facebook was number 2. I thought it was more close to the number 4.
Facebook's older people?
Just because, well,
It's number 1 in my eyes.
There you go.
I've done Facebook advertising and I never really got good.
Well, that's a whole different conversation. Facebook advertising versus where do these next gen people go to get financial information. This is, by the way, a survey of 1,000 people, just so you know the survey sample size. Okay? But YouTube, and again, this goes back to what I said a second ago, like your video game, where's it at? Your content game. It doesn't have to be all video, but I'm just saying, this next generation, this is what they engage with. And by the way, you've heard perhaps it said that video is the next best thing to being there. Like it builds trust, right? More than a text image post and video, because I can see you, I can read you, I can get a sense of who you are, your vibe. So this whole, I don't like how I look, that's why I don't post. Sorry, it's been played out. I don't like how I look on video either. No one does. Maybe Brad Pitt, I don't know. Right? But the point being is, that's how you look. I mean, you don't show up to your appointment with a bag over your head, right? That's how you look. You ever do that? Do this with one of your friends, or whatever. It's like, do a video of yourself, send it to them, and show it to them, and be like, "Does this look like me?" And be like, "Yeah, that's you. That looks like you." We just criticize the hell out of ourselves because we're now in this frame of like we're about to push send, and we're going to be out there and we're going to be judged. Yes, you will be judged. You've been judged your whole life. All of us have. Right? So let's keep going. How about information about buying a home? Where do you go? Look at this spread. Millennials, YouTube 65%, Gen Z 60%. Once again, Facebook, millennials are getting a little bit older than the Gen Z, right? But I guess I would look at this and ask, where do you spend your time trying to connect with your audience? And if it's not predominantly in the top 2, maybe, forget it, Reddit. Reddit's a whole different kind of thing. It's just really for people just posting comments and opinions, and half of it's BS anyways, but my opinion. But if you're talking about you building a brand and connecting with people, clearly YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, depending on who you're going after. And by the way, you may not be going after the younger of the next gen, which is Gen Z. You might be targeted more than millennials because those are the ones that have the shorter term to buy because they're a little bit older. Okay? So when it comes to choosing where you're going to spend your time and focus and all that stuff. Once again, is anybody seeing a pattern? Most helpful in learning about buying a home? Video. Online articles. If you prefer writing, go write. You can succeed with writing. Absolutely. But then there's a big drop-off, right, from there on out. Is anybody feeling really sad right now? And like I'm trying to get a read of like, you're like, oh, shoot. Really?
No, I mean, it just makes you think that I need to hire a professional company because I have been trying it on my own. I suck.
Congratulations. That's the first breakthrough. Realize you suck, and then you got to get better. No, I think that's awesome. I've said that to myself too. I'm going through this thing right now with my own content. I'm trying to be like, I got to figure something out different, unique, right? So we all go through that. That's a growth phase. But it does not have to be professional. You don't need a bunch of production or anything. It's just a matter of like, really it comes down to getting comfortable with this and knowing what to say. And it's just reps. You know what I mean? And knowing that your first 100 videos are gonna suck.
Yeah.
By the way, I said 100.
I did a class on Blink yesterday. It's easy. There's a beauty button, makes you look beautiful.
That's
It
true.
has an AI feature, so you just
That's
throw a
true.
topic in
Heather's
there,
gonna
it gives you a
look me
script.
up because
What is it called?
Blink.
currently my
With a
media
K.
manager is my
Blink,
9-year-old
blink,
granddaughter.
yeah.
So.
Well,
And she's
We'll
pretty
teach you
good
that.
actually.
yeah, there you go. future Spielberg there.
Yeah, but no, really, YouTube, that's the message.
It's important to answer the phone, I think, because I was trying to reach some agent in
Yep.
San Diego, and she's like a star everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere, and she's not calling me back. It's a week already, so I don't know.
Communication.
All right, let's see here. Let's pick up where we left off. Back to the other set of information we have. We already covered this, multi-generational. How do I cover home affordability issues? Let me pick it up right here. We're talking about that. We're going to get into content examples content you can create. Qualifying for a mortgage, one of the biggest fears related to home buying. Again, how can you help overcome people's misconceptions, incorrect assumptions, beliefs, fear, uncertainty, and doubt around qualifying for a mortgage? You could tell stories. If you've just closed a transaction or you know someone else who has closed a transaction, that's a story. Hey, by the way, want to share with you a quick story about the Smith family, right? One of their biggest fears about buying a home was qualifying for a mortgage. So, and I don't know if that's one of your concerns or fears, but they were able to get in their house. They only put 5% down, 10%, whatever the number is, right? They didn't have an amazing FICO score, etc. You tell the story. Do a 30 to 60 second story. It's like that simple. And you might need to script this out, practice it, rehearse it, use some of the tools that are out there, teleprompters, whatever, right? Not going to go super deep on that for our time here today, but I said this earlier, be the guide, share stories. We talked about teaming up with your lender. I talked about that. Okay. Are you guys familiar with the buy down strategy? Seller buy downs? No? That's where the seller makes concessions to pay down the interest rate by buying points. If you're not familiar with that, get with your lender. Because that is one of the ways that you overcome affordability is with seller buy downs. Because people think it's reducing the price. It's not. Let me see what this scenario is right here. Okay, so this is right here. Look at this. People's like, oh, the house isn't selling. Let's reduce the price. That's going to move it. Maybe, maybe not. So this is a house with a sales price of $590,000, 5% down. This is the interest rate. These are a little bit old. Here's the price reduction. So the payment is, where's the payment? Oh, that's just taking the baseline example. If we reduce the price by, what's that, $590, $575? How much? What's the difference? 15? 15,000? Yes? Okay. So if we reduce the price 15,000 from 590 to 575, same interest rate, that's a $95 a month savings. But if we take that same 15 grand and do an interest rate buy down, keep the price the same, right, and we reduce the interest rate from 5.9 to 5.4, that's a savings of $172 a month. That's moving the needle, because that's what gets people in the house is payment. And this is why I'm saying get with your lender in a market like this, because they can show your seller how, instead of just reducing the price, what's your goal in reducing the price, Mr. Seller? I want to get a buyer, right? I'm motivated. I need to sell. Great. Would you be open to me showing you a scenario that looked at the difference between reducing your price versus actually taking that same money and doing what's called the seller buy down to reduce the interest rate for a buyer? Like, who wouldn't say yes? I'd be curious to see more about that. And then when you show them net, this actually makes it more attractive to a buyer, and now you can advertise that house as having an actual reduced interest rate, right? And you can do a finance flyer with your lender and everything that shows, hey, here's how much this payment is versus, right, the other house or whatever. You can use this same scenario. You got to get with your guys and gals here to see if they use this tool. It's called Mortgage Coach. Okay, very popular tool in the industry of lending. But seller would probably go for that. Do you think a buyer would go for that? Like, this can be the difference between qualifying or not. And by the way, that's only on a $590,000 house and at a lower interest rate. It's a bigger impact at that higher interest rate, which they are today. Does that concept make sense? Do you think if you just, even if like that didn't go as planned, even if like the buyer found another house, or even if the answer was no, just the fact that you showed that as an option, does that make you look like more of a advisor versus a salesperson? I think so, right? So that's one way to leverage financing, and that's why lenders today are so critical as being part of your team. Okay, so what do they really want from you? Help you understand the process. Okay, this is the breakdown between all buyers. 63% of all buyers want you to help them understand how the hell to buy a house. And not get burned, not get screwed, have it be a right decision that they don't have remorse for. Which is going to take you being empathetic, right? And you being an advisor, not a salesperson. And perhaps changing your mindset. It's one of the trick questions I always ask. People from the last class or whatever will probably remember this, but usually I ask a room of real estate agents, when buyers are asking if now is a good time to buy a house, what do you say? Yes? What else? Or is yes the only answer?
Maybe.
Is now a good time to sell a house? Yes. And yes is the only answer?
Yes.
The correct answer is what you said when you had a second to think about it, which is maybe, or also, it depends.
Yeah.
Because if I walked onto a car lot and I asked him if it was a good time to buy a car, yes. Are you going to believe him?
Nope.
No. Because all they want to do is sell me a car.
Right.
Well, a lot of people think all real estate agents want to do is sell a house, right? So maybe if you just changed up the game and said, on your next consultation, said, you know what, before we get into it today, really my job is not really to try and force you to sell a house or buy a house. It's really to understand if now is the right time for you. See, scripting is important. Knowing what to say is important. Setting people at ease. Because when they come into that conversation with you, they have high anxiety, they have resistance, even if it's a referral, right? Because they know you want to sell them. So the better you can get at disarming them and just saying, look, before we get into this today, I just want to let you know that my job is not here to convince you, convert you, or try and get you to do anything that you're not comfortable or completely ready to do. That's not my job. And immediately you see them and go, oh, relax. I'm going to now open up a little bit more. Okay? So from the first moment of engagement, it's important. Now, I told you I'd promise you some social media content post ideas in addition to what we already talked about here. These are examples, and you'll get the slides. You can swipe and deploy and make your own. So, we've already established that the next-gen buyer is confused about the process, is apprehensive, is fearful, has all these beliefs about why they're not going to be able to afford to buy a house, et cetera, et cetera. They're stressed for money. I think part of a percentage of your social media content should be overcoming those things answering those questions. As I said earlier, the top 5 questions you get about buying or selling a house in today's market. That's the first place to start. How to avoid the common mistakes. And again, this is, when you think about content, like you said, I suck at video, right? How many videos have you done roughly? Rough guess. Is it less than 50?
Yes.
Okay. See, you can't even judge yourself until you get over 100. Of course you're going to suck. We're all going to suck. I sucked when I learned how to drive a car. Did anybody else? Until I got really comfortable and did it over and over and over and over again. So now it's second nature, and what do? We text, we do this, we shave, right? All that stuff. Because now you've done it so much. And I will tell you that that's the thing most people underestimate is the timeline to get from I suck to wow, I'm actually building momentum is longer than most people are willing to give themselves, which is why most people bail out and stop. Because they're like, well, shit, I've done it 20 times. I mean, how many times would you pick up your kid, right, to teach them how to walk? 20, you're done, you're out. No, you've got to keep going, okay? And you've got to study what other people do for content so you can learn and apply it to yourself. You don't want to be a clone. You want to grab the things and the ideas that you like, and you want to duplicate those for yourself. Far right there, working with the wrong people. I mean, that's something that those buyers can relate to. Swayed by friends, family members, blah, 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 blah. You take that, you make it your own, and you start following people whose content you think is relevant and good. Top mistakes when buying or selling, right? Here's how to overcome affordability, how to not have to pay today's interest rates. Which, by the way, I was on a webinar this morning with a lender in Florida, and that was his big headline that some of his agents were using, is buyers don't have to pay today's interest rates. That was one of his posts. Does that get people's attention? People are in the market and are seeing rates, and they're like, what do you mean I don't have to pay today's interest rates? And guess what it is? It's a post that teases out the idea of a seller buy down. Because with a seller buy down, they're not paying today's interest rates. They're essentially delaying it, if you understand how those work, but get with your lender for more details about that. But they get to get in the house at a reduced rate. Because the assumption is their income's going to go up over the next 2-3 years as that interest rate comes back up to market rates. So in a high rate environment, those seller buy downs make a lot of sense.
Yeah, can I ask
Yeah,
you?
please.
The seller buy downs, only certain buyers qualify.
Okay.
So can you advertise that way to everybody?
Not all will qualify, right? Well, I mean, no one's saying they're all going to qualify, but I would also be curious to, I don't want to take the time now to dig in more about that, but I'd be curious to know, there's different types of loan programs, and yes, not all people will qualify based on the loan program, et cetera, et cetera. But that's why, here's what you want to do. You want to schedule a consultation. That's the goal. Book a time on my calendar, link in bio, right? DM me for more. That's the way to start those conversations today, right? Try that. I challenge you. Try that headline. Try that opener to a video. Hey, here's why home buyers don't need to pay today's interest rates. Have you heard about what's called a seller buy down? Like, boom, and then do your script, right? Curious to learn more? DM me, comment below, whatever. I'm going to send you the guide or whatever the thing is. But anybody gone fishing before? What do you do to catch a fish? You got to have line in the water, right? Your social media posts are lines in the water. Your emails, if you have a database and you're sending a newsletter, do something about a seller buy down. I challenge you to get with your lender, the team at Epic Lending, right? And go to them and say, hey, I want to learn more about seller buy downs and how we can talk to some buyers about these. I challenge you. And then you let me know what happened. Your mind's blown, and all of a sudden you're thinking like, damn, those 3 buyers I talked to, we could have used that. Tool and resource for you, okay? All right, so let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so more content ideas. This comes directly from the feedback from the survey. Top benefits of working with an agent. Number 1 was help me understand the process, navigate, be a guide. Specifically, look at this. Almost 60% said, my agent helped point out unnoticed property features and faults. Again, that's a piece of content for you. You're in front of a house. You're out at some condo or whatever, right? And you're like, hey, when you're buying a house, let me give you like, here's 3 things to look out for. Or here's the top thing to look for, right? Talk about an inspection report. What to look for in an inspection report. How many of you people walk your clients through that already when you get the inspection report? That's posts for you. That's content. And you could hold it up. Hey guys, got an inspection report in my hand. Most people don't know what to look for in this. Let me just tell you, here's the top 2 things to look for in any inspection report. You look at it and you go, it's this, it's this. Hey, if you got questions about an inspection report or you're considering about buying and selling, got questions, just DM me, whatever. That's the game. That's another line in the water, okay? But again, this comes from, these are the things. I'll give you another one in the middle. Provide better service providers. Hey, one of the reasons why my clients choose me is we help them navigate the home buying process. And what does that mean? That means helping them connect with the right professionals that are going to help them through their journey of buying a home. That means the right lender. That means the right inspector. That means the right appraiser, plumber, contract. Fill out the list. I worked with Walter Sanford. I tell this story often back in Long Beach, California. Walter was one of my mentors long time ago. We're going back, it was 2005, 30 years? That's when I got in the industry, it was 2003. And so Walter was a realtor in Long Beach, California. He sold a house a day every day for 16 years. And Walter used to come in and do events and classes for me. I was a lender, and he would do them with realtors. And Walter had this, one of the things he had was a concierge service. I still see agents doing it today. A concierge service is the list of provided partners, not vendors, partners you have gone through your vetting process that you have approved and chosen to be part of your exclusive concierge team of providers of services that run the gamut of the things I just mentioned, right? It has high perception, low cost to you. It's you putting up a Word doc, right, and putting it on your website or talking about it or whatever the thing is, right? Put it on a PDF, put it in your original consultation. Because again, they're looking for a guide. And what does a guide have? A guide has the map, the journey. A guide has resources and tools along the way, right? The secret heel coins and all that stuff. Oh, sorry, bad joke. All right, so again, improved knowledge of search areas, right? That's one of the things you can do. So yes, people can find homes on Zillow and all that stuff, but what it doesn't give them is a lot of context and insight because you've been here for X amount of years. You're the local eyes and ears, especially if they're coming from out of state. All right, somebody was mentioning earlier phone calls and all that stuff, importance of communication across all ages. The whole agent won't call me back thing, that's just a bad agent, right? Really bad, and there's a few of them. Less and less as we could go on here. Okay, so these are some of the things that they like to receive, right? Market reports, less so, emails for important needs. Like a mobile-friendly website wasn't that important. What was most important was communication, okay? I'm going to kind of blow through. By the way, this was interesting. The average purchase that these next-gen buyers made was within a median of 10 miles from where they previously lived. 10 miles. By the way, you might want to ask on that buyer consultation, hey, I'm curious, what areas are you considering, right? Why are you considering those areas? Or would you be open to areas outside of that? Because you might be able to find them a deal or something outside of that 10-mile radius, okay? So here's what influences the choice. Obviously, quality of neighborhood, convenient to job, school district, neighborhood, near friends and family. Smart home, office, turnkey ready. Digital tools to remain relevant. Here's the must-haves. CRM. We talked about sync. Video. We talked about that ad nauseum. Online reviews. Your Google business profile. Should be your #1 destination for reviews. And if you feel you're lacking, we have a whole class just on Google reviews. We haven't done that yet. We should probably add that to the mix. Tell Justin. You've heard of it?
I said I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, make a note of it. It's a very popular class. Because when you get a referral or when somebody finds you, what are they going to do? They're going to look you up. One of the places they're going to go is Google. They're going to search your name on Google. They're going to see what comes up. And hopefully on the right-hand side, you see those stars with the reviews and the pictures. That's called the Google Business Profile. And it better be optimized. It better have a decent amount of reviews. It better be relevant. It better have some signs of life. You know, that your last review better not be from 3 years ago, because that looks like you're not very active. It's credibility, okay? That's why that's so important. Active social media presence. I don't want to debate it. Apps to improve the process. So any mobile apps you have, things like that. I think I have a couple of them in here. We've mentioned DocuSign already. You guys probably have your own texting app. Here's one, text message marketing. Obviously, you can text people directly from your own phone, but I'm talking about mass texting people. Sync can probably do that, I'm sure, as well. Yeah? Sure, yes it can. Does anybody use Sync for texting? Does anyone use a different CRM or a different texting tool? Reach, have you heard of the Reach app? Reach app is really cool. Reach app allows you to text in mass and makes it look like it's individual personalized text. See, a lot of these texting apps require you to use a different phone number than your actual mobile number. The Reach app will allow you to use your local actual real phone number to send text messages. So they're not like, hey, who's this message from? They know it's coming from you. So check out Reach app. Write that down. Really cool. Digital business cards. These are really cool. Anybody use these? Yes? Is there a particular one you use, or you're not sure? I know. I forget the name too.
Blink.
Blink?
Is it Blink? Yeah.
Oh, is that the one you said earlier?
Yeah.
It's different?
Yeah, one has a C, one's a K. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
I like it, because once they put their information in it, it comes back to you and you have their info
Right.
right away.
I got this thing a while ago from OVOU, O-V-O-U, and they actually, you can pay for a card. But anyway, it's cool because people, I'm just like, do you have a card? I'm like, no, but you can scan this, right? Boom, and that does the same thing. But yeah, Blink is a great one. This one's biz carding, but it just makes it easy and convenient for you to text somebody, and it's got all your contact information right there. Your social media, your website, your online forms, whatever it is. All that stuff in one simple text. It's all right there. And it looks very, very professional. And you can share it via email, text people. You can edit the info anytime. They just tap on an icon and they can do whatever the thing is, right? Send you a message, connect with you on social. That's a very frictionless experience. Open houses. We have a whole separate class about open houses. You should tell Justin.
Adding that to the list.
You should tell Justin we have over 20 classes.
Over 20 classes,
Yeah.
got it.
There's Spacio. I don't know if anybody does open houses or you're familiar with it. You have this? Okay, cool. Nice. Property showing scheduler. This is always a fun one to show, knowing that Showtime's on there. And people, I guess, don't like to use Showtime anymore because it's purchased by Zillow. Is that right? Am I accurate that agents don't like it?
Yeah, but really all you're doing is going to set the appointment. You're not putting your client's information in there. Although, the other day, I saw them say you have to submit your offer through Showtime.
Oh.
Yeah.
Scooping that one up.
Yeah.
So maybe watch out for Showtime. That's Zillow. They want to get their hands in on everything. Insta showing is another one, and local showings are two others you can look at. Is this cool so far, guys? You glad you came? Should we thank Rock Title for that?
Thank you, Ross.
She shows up day one winning. Look at that. All right, let's wrap this up with how to attract, engage, and build trust. First of all, how do people find their agent? Mostly friends and family. Second, online search. Circle back to Google Business Reviews. That's why that's important. You can literally get business off of Google at zero cost to you if you're just willing to put in the time and effort to build up your reviews and your presence and stay current there. I was on a webinar this morning with a different lender, and two different webinars. And he was talking about how much business he gets every single month just from his Google reviews. Totally organic, because they're typing in, mortgage broker near me or mortgage broker in my city, just like they do real estate agents, Summerlin, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to take you some time. Guess what? Welcome to life. But it can be worth it. Okay? All right. So where were we? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. So these are places for you to attract. They prefer video-based platforms, and that they're searching YouTube, specifically for personal finance. And oftentimes, for those who don't know, like I said, got in this industry in 2003. I've had a podcast for 8 years, interact with a lot of real estate agents at various levels. My primary focus is helping lenders get relationships with realtors. But oftentimes, I've put my hat on of like I was a real estate agent, or if I decided to become a producing lender again, which social media channel would I personally focus on? It might take a little bravery to say it, but I think it's YouTube. For the simple fact that YouTube is a search engine. It is not a social media channel, technically. It's a search engine, which means people are searching thousands and thousands of times every single month, everything about buying and selling a home, local keywords, Summerlin, Vegas, moving to Vegas, buying a home in Vegas, what sucks about Vegas, all the stuff. You guys know the local agents who do these videos, I'm sure, I hope. I watch them.
Yeah, they do really well.
And so don't fall under the misguided assumption that there's already 4 agents doing that. They're already getting the business. Not true. How many people moved to Vegas last year? Do you know? Anybody offhand?
30,000.
Something like 30,000, right? So how many of those do you need?
30,000.
How many let's just say you got a deal a month off of YouTube. One deal. And take your average purchase price. Let's just say it's $500,000. Okay? Like, what's the math on that? What do you make on that, right? And you got to decide if that is that worth spending the next year. That's right, year. Or more. That's not a year and I'm done. It's a continual evolution, right? But a year from now, you're getting a deal a month off of. And by the way, that's a closing. That doesn't include all the future just because those people aren't ready, right? You're building your database. That's really what you got to think about it through the lens of that. And that's why I choose YouTube over Instagram and Facebook for me personally. Now, there are agents who crush it on Instagram and Facebook and all that. I get it, right? It's just, what's your vibe? Where do you already hang out? But let's be smart too. It's a business. And if like you were going to, this is like, if I'm going to decide where I'm going to spend money to buy leads, well, instead of me buying leads, I'm actually using my time as an asset to invest, to attract and capture leads. Is it easy? No. But this business isn't easy, right? Okay, so communication preferences. This is next gen homebuyers, folks, the younger folk. Email. This goes in order of preferences. Okay? I'm about to rock your world. Email, face-to-face, phone call, text message, video call. Many people would have said, oh, they only want to get text messages. You know when they want to get text messages is when it's somewhat important and relevant and necessary. And depends on where they're at in their cycle with you as well. You know? Like, are they just kicking the tires, putting their toe in the pool? Are they like, you know, let's go, I'm ready to buy, right? It'll vary. But look at face-to-face. Why do you think that's so high? What's the issue they have we talked about earlier? Trust. Trust. And by the way, I would say you could put Zoom in there as a subcategory of face-to-face. Because like when I look at video call, I think FaceTime. But I don't look at face-to-face. Like a lot of people are willing, I know a lot of lenders, for example, who do their consultations over Zoom first. They do a 30-minute buyer consultation over Zoom. And it works great. And you might want to consider, see, what I would do is I would offer them options. So we have a lot of ways to communicate based on where we're at right now. So here's my options, right? We can, have our first consultation over Zoom. We could do face-to-face. Like you could come into our office. What would be your preference? Ask them. Like imagine you could do like 40% of your consultations over Zoom instead of coming to the office and all that stuff. You'd probably like it, right? And it's almost the same thing, not quite as close, but you got to gauge it. People are going to be different. Some people want the face-to-face, and if that's what you want to do, fine, then go for it. Maybe you have a concierge level of service, right? Depends. How important are reviews? By the way, I know I'm gonna put another nail on this one. Online reviews. We're talking about building trust. So 41% said very important. 22% said extremely important. I call that 60%. Extremely or very important. So if there's one thing you walk out of here with today that you can do is go to your past clients. Does anyone have past clients? Not yet? Do you have friends and family who can vouch for you as a human being? Yes? Okay. So what you do is you get the character review. Now here's what I've done for some colleagues in the industry is I leave them a character review. There's one lender I know in San Diego, and what I say hey, is, you know what, I've known Liz for 4 years. She's one of the most competent professional lenders in the industry. You would do well by choosing Liz if you ever decide to buy or refinance a house. She has my highest endorsement. There you go. Character review. And that's one way to start out. Friends, family, colleagues who can review you. And they didn't say you sold them a house. But have a goal. What's the goal? I would say when you start getting into the range of 20 to 30 reviews, now you're starting to have some credibility. 4 or 5? Sorry. And if you're new, I understand, but you can build those up over time and just make it part of your process. Now, once again, who has past clients who have not left you a review? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Family?
My daughter.
Your daughter? You go to the past clients. So you can, depending on how you want to run this, you can just simply ask them for the favor. Hey, it's a great chance to check in with your people. Hey, it's been a while since we talked. Hope you're well. Hope the family's well. Is Johnny playing football? Small talk. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, by the way, one of the things that I overlooked to do during the hectic, transition or transaction we did a while back was actually, ask for a review. So I hope it doesn't come across as like, awkward or whatever. But I'm really looking to build up my online reviews and, build my referral business. Would you be open to? That's the key phrase. Would you be open to leaving me a review if I made it really easy for you? How do you make it easy? Google gives you a link. You can text, email, whatever, to people that takes them right to your page to leave a review. Simple. Okay? Lastly, if you have actual past clients, several, 10, 20, you can do a contest, okay? And say at the end of 2 weeks or 30 days, I kind of like 2 weeks because it's a little bit more tight. I'm going back to all my past clients, and what I'm going to do is for everybody who's left me reviews, I'm going to draw a name out of the hat, and they're going to get a free steak dinner at the end of this 2 week period. And you're going to send that email out, you're going to call people, whatever it is you're going to do, and you're going to say, I'm running this contest, would you would you want to participate? Some will, some won't. And at the end of those 2 weeks, you get to, choose that name out of a hat, which, by the way, this is what I would do. Hey, what's up? So this is Geoff at Realty One, so it's contest time. Somebody's winning a free steak dinner, right? What I asked all my past clients to do was go ahead and leave me a review on Google, and they did. And so here today, we're going to pull the winner of a steak dinner at friggin', Fleming Steakhouse. Boom, here we go. It's Sally and Joe, right? And you just posted that video. You tagged Sally and Joe. That's the modern world. Okay?
Wow.
Was that a good idea?
A lot of energy.
Who said that? Oh, thank you.
It's a lot of energy, but yeah, you got to put into it.
Sales is an energy business.
It is.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. So closing out, the answer here is have empathy for these next gen people, right? It's been a long road. They faced a lot of financial crises, right? They grew up during the Great Recession and understand the place that they're in. It's a challenging time for many, but they're still moving forward. Double down on Google reviews, double down on social video content, double down on high touch versus high tech. As great as AI is, and you can use it, by the way, we have a class on AI, did I tell you that? You can use AI and ChatGPT to do some amazing things, but the most human brand will win. All right? So let's cut to this right here. What was your one big takeaway? I don't have any free books today, but rain check. IOU. What was your one big takeaway that you want to apply in your business?
Google.
Really?
Advertising YouTube.
So Google Business Profile and YouTube?
Oh yeah, Google too. Yes, definitely.
I see a theme.
I actually have a Google business page, but I'm not active on it, so
Yeah.
I need to get more.
You're going to change
active.
that today, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
I would start with character reviews. Like anybody who's a friend here or whatever in the office and all that kind of stuff, you swap. Do a character, hey, I'll give you one tit for tat kind of thing, right? Thank you. And how about this side of the room? Back in the back. Big takeaway from today?
Let's just do it.
Just do it? That's pretty vague, my dear. Let's get specific.
The video.
Video. So you're gonna go for 100 before you judge yourself on being successful at video.
Okay, so raise your hand if you want a Google workshop. Okay, 1, 2.
Raise your hand high in the air like you just don't.
Everybody, 30 people. Okay. And then if you want a review on making videos, raise your hand. Okay, so we'll set those up this month.
Yeah, we have a class which is all about video, reels, hooks, and scripts, short videos,
Okay.
all that stuff. And so, good one. All right, you guys will get a link to the slides and all that kind of stuff. Let them know what class you want to attend, and then talk it up if you felt this was good. Hey, by the way, you know what I'm going to do? If you guys are okay, can I send a link out? Can I ask for a review from you guys? I'm going to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
All right.
Steak dinner.
Moving like a tree salesperson.
Right? I like that. Maybe. We'll see. All right, we're officially done. Thank you very much, guys. Go apply at least one thing you learned today.
Thank
Thank you. See you, Zoom.
Thank you.